today is news day and I have actually 3 very cool articles about Hello Kitty Island Adventure that I want to share with you, and I have also a weird video that we don't know actually where it comes from. Is it new? Is it super old? And we'll talk about this. So let's get right in by starting with the articles. The first one is by Patrick Klepek. 1 year later, Hello Kitty Island Adventure is still trying to balance ethics and profits. The game is now coming to Switch and other platforms, but its debut on Apple Arcade continues to have fascinating ramifications for game balance. I will link all the articles in the description so you can go read them all in more details, but I will just pick a few interesting parts of each article. I wrote about Island Adventure last year, in which Jessie Howe, Chief Product Officer at the game's developer Sunblink, described the game to me as all about respecting people's time and trying to avoid designing a game that punishes people for having a life outside of it. My time with the game backed that up. Part of the reason Howe and Sunblink could pull this off was because Apple Arcade doesn't allow the presence of microtransactions or ads, flipping some of the toxic incentive you normally see in mobile games where developers are chasing maximum player engagement and money. It's 100% a push-pull and I love it, said Howe. It's so fascinating to see where anecdotal data deviate from the actual what do people do in the game. I find the place that manifests the most is often in, wow, this mechanic is really grindy and I don't like doing it, so I'm going to quit the game. Currently, Island Adventure doesn't cost more than a monthly subscription to Apple's gaming service, but it's still a live service game updated regularly, informed by your community. Naturally, you'd want people to play your game, but at what cost? I always fall on the side of wanting to form long-lasting relationships, said Howe, who said the game's outlined plans for expanding Island Adventure not only in days, weeks or months, but years. Even if people are playing more, if they're upset about that, or if they're playing more because they feel obligated and not because it's joyful, that's going to hurt us long term. All of this came up in a very real way recently, after adding weather events. The idea was simple. From time to time it might rain or a volcano might give off steam. The events were random, but would in theory mix up the experience for regular players. There were other layers too. Special creatures in Island Adventure could only be collected when it rains. The developer added quests to guide players towards these events, but it backfired. In Animal Crossing style games, people love to collect everything, and because weather wasn't predictable, players started obsessing over trying to catch the rain critters. You don't have to go very far to find players grumbling. What we saw in the data was that people were playing many more sessions per day and longer sessions per day, she said. But what we heard anecdotally was, oh my gosh, it never rains. I'm just sitting on my phone waiting for rain. Rain isn't happening. Is rain bugged? Okay, it finally rained and it didn't rain in the location where the creature spawned. I hate it. I'm miserable. This is the worst thing in the world. Just extraordinarily community backlash. If you're looking as a data analyst or a pure product person, she said they'd be, hey, engagement is up, this is a good thing. Then you look at the community and you're like, people are having just an awful time with this. It's not worth it to continue to incentivize this. And a patch will come soon to remove the quest and weather will become more consistent. We wound up making a lot of changes regardless of what the data showed around engagement, said Howe. The community feedback and the anecdotal experience people were having was not the type of experience we want to have or incentivize. So that was super interesting. She said about that, like, usually people are focused on the data and Sunblink is really focused on listening to the feedback of the players, even if that does mean making changes that are not focused on having people play the most. So thank you. Then we have an article on Games Radar by Ali Jones. Hello Kitty Island Adventure is taking up Animal Crossing's mantle, but that's tougher than you'd think. We've almost gotten to the point where cozy games are overused. Players looking for an alternative to New Horizons should find they get their needs met, but a licensed open world twist on the life sim formula with all the jumping, climbing and exploration that includes means that new players are finding their way too. And that could have a substantial impact on the entire cozy game trend. It's actually been great to see the definition of cozy expand to contain more additional motivations like exploration, like mastery, like inventory management. These aren't just all house games anymore. Is it just a marketing buzzword intended to appeal to a specific type of players? Does a game that tackles tougher themes cease to be cozy? For how the answer to all of those questions is no, because the way I define coziness is about safety. Throughout our conversation, she points to Wildflowers, a mystical farming sim with obvious notes to Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon, where a major early story arc deals with the loss of a character's grandmother. I do think Wildflower is an example of difficult themes being done extraordinarily well. I don't think I've seen other games handle deep or potential traumatic theme in a way that was as caring. We discuss how personal experience of something like grief might push a potential player away, but she said that Wildflower was so good at nurturing you and giving you a community to feel those emotions that it felt deeply safe. There are hard things in the world, but that's a reality, and that's us as humans. There are parts of me that are angry and that hurts and that are grieving. But avoiding the instinct to avoid the more difficult things, she said, can be the key to making things even cozier. Leaving the harder stuff out leads to a certain superficiality or emptiness, which long-term doesn't necessarily provide the richness that feeds people for months or years. By contrast, tackling those ideas head-on, but with that safety net behind the player, is almost more nurturing than something that intentionally decides to be sugar floss. Whether it can genuinely fill the hole left by Animal Crossing New Horizons remains to be seen, but as the cozy game trend continues to grow in the wake of Nintendo's phenomenon, it's clear that even Island Adventures devs aren't prepared to rest purely on the strength of their IP. So this was so interesting. If you guys were able to play or even seen my videos about the end of the story arc with the island spirit, I thought that was so deep that actually they talked about friendship but not in a perfect way. Like, I would say all other games are like, hey, friendship, let's befriend everything. But this one said friendships can be hard. You can be sad and it's okay. And do you want to repair this friendship? Do you want to fight for it? Or it's also okay if you think that you should let that friendship go and move on because this is life. And so they really talked about very serious topics, but like she said, in a very safe environment. And this is what made me so emotional in that scene. It's because it was really deep about the characters that we had started to meet, but also very deep about life things that everybody goes through. And even though it's a game that's said it could be for people that are 4 years old, that could think it's a very cool thing and very light surfer thing, all the adults that can read the subtext of this game can really see the depth of it, and that it's just not made for children. And that is what I really love about this game, and I'm really happy that they addressed it in this article. The third article is on Screen Rant and is by Devon McClure. 1 year after its release, Hello Kitty Island Adventure has more reasons to play than ever. Earlier this summer, Screen Rant journeyed to the games booth at Summer Game Fest to see an early version of the aforementioned port and chat with Sunblink's Chief Product Officer Chelsea Howe to reflect on everything that's happened since launch and discuss the title's future. Island Adventure isn't the first time the adorable titular protagonist, who for the record is canonically not a cat, has ventured into video games, but it's arguably the most successful. One of the largest complaints about the game was simply its exclusive platform launching only for iOS devices, but that will be remedied next year. In doing so, the developer aims to open up the game to a whole new audience, meaning that making a strong first impression is key. While it certainly draws some inspiration from games like Animal Crossing, it sets itself apart within the genre in several ways. With a market currently inundated with releases where players completely control their own destiny, Sunblink opted to go a more hybridized route, infusing a main storyline with cozy, more open-ended elements. Because of this, the game manages to strike a chord with a wider breadth than many other similar releases. We were seeing Sanrio fans who didn't game come in and enjoy it. We were seeing cozy fans who came in and realized how many new mechanics it had versus other games fans and were thrilled to play it. Landing that correct balance was no easy feat, but it was made easier in part by a strong relationship with Sanrio, which trusted Sunblink a lot to do just what they're best at. This trust has undoubtedly paid off with not only positive fan reactions but impressive critic reception as well. It took home the title of Apple Arcade Game of the Year for 2023 and received the nomination for Mobile Game of the Year from both the Game Award and the DICE Awards. Developers could easily rest on their laurels following this success, but Sunblink has much more up its sleeves. What's next for Hello Kitty Island Adventure? We'll be continuing to update and support the game as long as people are continuing to play and enjoy it, House says. We've got a 2-year plus roadmap. A large 2.0 update is planned for September, and while many of the finer details are still under wraps, it will introduce both a new character and area into the game. She refers to the project as an ongoing living destination for players and expresses just how great a motivator fan response continues to be almost a year in to continue building the title even further. Okay, so we knew about the second island and it was hinted, but is Milk going to be the new character? There's a debate about that, but I think in my interview she was pretty clear that the big friends like Hello Kitty, My Melody, Kuromi are their best and main character in their story, and all the other ones are going to be visitors, so technically Milk should be a visitor, even though it's been hyped like that. But why would just a visitor be as hyped? We'll see. The importance of Island Adventure's players. Sunblink's Hello Kitty Island Adventure team is small, consisting of only about 40 people, and the relationship between developers and players has been a cornerstone of the title's success from the very beginning. The game's official Discord currently boasts almost 50,000 members and serves as a place for fans to chat about the game, report bugs, make suggestions, and perhaps, more important than anything, share their excitement. Ha opens the server on her phone with a smile, scrolling through people sharing outfits and new flower hybrids combination with a sense of pure exuberance. People sharing outfits? I don't think there's that many people sharing outfits on the Discord, apart from me. So did Chelsea showed pictures of me to this person at Screen Rant? That would be amazing. Maybe I'm just misreading it, but that would be so cool if I was secretly being mentioned like that. For an IP as large as Sanrio, it's surprising how intimate the game's community is. Members of the Sunblink team speak directly with players on the server pretty much constantly, implementing their feedback and learning what to prioritize next based on their friend responses. In many ways, going to the community and getting the sentiments there, hearing what is working and not working, is just hugely valuable for us. The passion for the game runs deep on the developer side too, which continues to drive constant ideating and desire to improve. I think it's such a gift to be able to work on a project with a team that actually legitimately cares and intrinsically enjoys what they're making and has such a pride in it. We are really proud of it, she continues. We are really happy about it. We'll love continuing to make it more awesome and developing it out. With multiple years more content already being planned and a vibrant, ever-growing community, the future of Hello Kitty Island Adventure looks brighter than ever 1 year in. This is amazing! I'm so happy for this. I'm so happy about how Sunblink is tackling this game, about how positive and caring the community is, about how the whole industry and everybody involved in reviewing video games and rating and everything is actually seeing the true value of this gorgeous game. And very often I'm actually mentioning to people, what do you do now? I say I have 2 YouTube channels and one is reviewing this game called Hello Kitty Island Adventure, and most people are like, oh, okay. And so like they know Hello Kitty, but also they have no idea, honestly. And maybe when it comes to Switch and more people play it, more people will know about it. Like my boyfriend now, even if he did not play Animal Crossing, if he heard about Animal Crossing, is like, oh yeah, my girlfriend played like 1,500 hours on this game and I looked through it and it looked good. And so at least people who did not play this game know that it is a very good game, very acclaimed game and everything. And I feel that the general public now hears Hello Kitty is like, oh yeah, it should be like a dollhouse game, like she mentioned, like a very basic game for kids and everything. And I really hope that opening it to a more general public, the general public will see the respect that this game deserves, and I'm so looking forward for that, and I will still be there for you guys and all the new people coming when this game hits Switch and PC and everything, and I'm so ready. Now let's talk about this video that apparently is shared recently by Apple Arcade to share like the cozy gaming area of their Apple Arcade games. But look at this. Some of the shots with the butterfly look like one of the very early game image they had as promotion with the characters laying in the grass or anything. It does not look like anything in the game. But when Hello Kitty goes in the water, you can clearly see the sunken ship. So this is technically our island and not a future island. But then you see all the characters coming out of tents, and we only have one tent, and it's the one from Chococat near the workbench. And you also look at the player character. It has no like texture or anything. It looks like just a plain color. There are no multiple colors on his face or body or anything. So it looks like it's a very early, maybe even one of the first assets they made to promote the game or something like that. But why does it resurfaces now? And this does not even, I'm not sure. I need to look that up. Whoever is editing this, please find it. We had on like abandoned where something, I don't remember, on a website you could see the very early assets that were used, and there was a map with the very early map, and it looked like of the seaside resort, and it looked like nothing that we have now. And I don't think they had these tents next to each other, so I don't know, was it just assets they used to show maybe Apple or Sanrio, something like that? I'm not sure, but tell me what you think about that. It's very cute and we just don't know what it signifies. I'm always so happy to read about Hello Kitty Island Adventure in newspapers, like online, even if it's online reviews and blogs like that, because it's really important to get different perspective, and when it's an interview it's even more interesting, and each of them have a different angle, so I'm so happy to have that. So thank you guys for having done these interviews with Chelsea. And if you watching this want to look at what has been said by Chelsea officially in the Discord lately, click on this playlist to see the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.